The formula for success is not complex. It lies within human nature, within those tenacious entrepreneurs who know they can transcend their current circumstances. They are willing to invest their time, energy, and relentlessly sharpen their skills to create value in the market economy. That is a phenomenal force. Today, Buffett will analyze two real-world business case studies, two vivid lessons on how to transform sheer willpower into a financial empire. Buffett has executed two major acquisitions, placing millions of dollars into the hands of two female entrepreneurs. The shocking common denominator? Both started with the exact same seed capital, $2,500. That was their entire net worth, their all-in bet on the future. Let's dissect the first case, Rose Blumkin. She arrived in America in 1917. Penniless, illiterate in English, in a completely foreign market economy. After reuniting with her husband, she lived in Fort Dodge, Iowa, feeling isolated and powerless. They decided to relocate to Omaha. Here, she embarked on a 20-year journey of rigorous money saving, a lesson in harsh financial discipline. She sold used clothing, pinching every penny to sponsor her family's emigration. By 1937, she had amassed $2,500. With that meager currency, she didn't indulge in luxuries. She went to Chicago, invested every last dollar in furniture, and opened a store. A woman who could neither read nor write laid the foundation for a business from absolute zero. And here is the financial bombshell. In 1983, Buffett acquired that business for $60 million. Today, it generates $1.5 billion in annual revenue and is still growing. That entire empire was built from that initial $2,500, with no additional outside capital ever injected. That is the power of financial discipline and reinvestment, an efficient business model. Mrs. Blumkin, a self-made millionaire, worked until she was 103 years old, a testament to the fact that true entrepreneurial passion knows no retirement age. The second case study involves another entrepreneur whose business Buffett attempted to acquire, but was wisely turned down. Jack Taylor, born in 1922, was a former Navy pilot, a war hero. After his service, he drifted between jobs before becoming a used car salesman. At 37, he approached his boss with a proposal. Let's get into the car leasing business. The boss agreed on two conditions: take a 50% pay cut and contribute $25,000 in capital. Jack borrowed the money and launched the venture. But the real turning point came at age 40. With just 17 cars, he decided to enter the rental car market, going head-to-head with giants like Hertz and Avis. He couldn't compete on scale or location. His money-making strategy wasn't about the product. It was about the customer experience. He was determined to offer the level of friendly, dedicated service that was simply unmatched. He named the company Enterprise, after the aircraft carrier he had served on. The result? By the time Jack Taylor passed away, Enterprise, which began with 17 cars, was worth more than Hertz, Avis, and all other competitors combined. From a risky financial decision, he built an empire, becoming a legendary billionaire in the market economy. What are the lessons here for every entrepreneur? First, the iron law of initiation. The perfect plan is an illusion. Business schools and financial theorists may preach the importance of a flawless business plan. That is a dangerous waste of time. In the brutal arena of the market economy, no plan survives first contact with the customer. The market is volatile, customers are unpredictable, and the flow of currency is ever-changing. The obsession with a perfect start will paralyze you, burning through precious monetary capital on an unproven model. Look at Henry Ford. Before becoming the king of the automobile industry, he was a serial failure. He bankrupted investors not once, but twice. For most, that would be the end. But for a true entrepreneur, that's tuition. Failure is not the end point. It is valuable financial data. Ford learned from his financial missteps, adapted his model, and ultimately created the Ford Motor Company, changing the world. Jack Taylor, too, was initially on the wrong track. His leasing business wasn't a failure, but it was a dead end, a model lacking the explosive potential. His failure wasn't losing money, it was a failure of vision. It was only at 40 that he failed his way out of an old idea and into a revolutionary one. The surprising financial lesson here is this. An entrepreneur's greatest asset is not the money in their bank account, but their ability to learn from mistakes at the lowest possible cost. Do not fear failure. Fear failing to learn from it. Fail fast, fail cheap, and pivot relentlessly. That is the only way to survive and dominate the market economy. Second, the supreme principle of focus. Master your circle of competence and ignore the rest of the universe. This is the greatest trap for every entrepreneur, getting distracted by things they cannot control. How many hours a day do you waste worrying about the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, about macroeconomic conditions, about the manic swings of the stock market? That is meaningless noise. You cannot change it. Trying to predict it is like trying to guess lottery numbers. It may sound counterintuitive, but for a true business operator, the stock market is a distraction. Most people think that making money requires tracking every market tick. Wrong. The stock market is where wealth is measured, but your business is where wealth is created. Consider Rose Blumkin again. She built her empire in the post-Great Depression era, a time of immense economic turmoil. But did she care? No. She wasn't reading Wall Street reports. She cared about one thing: whether the customer walking through her door found what they needed at a fair price and received a smile. Her entire economic universe was contained within the four walls of her store. Jack Taylor was the same. He didn't build his business model on forecasting used car prices or macro financial indicators. He built it on a single question: how can I make this rental experience so outstanding that customers not only return but tell their friends? He understood that the most powerful financial leverage doesn't come from complex instruments, but from an outrageously satisfied customer. A loyal customer base generates a more reliable stream of money than any investment portfolio. The true power of an entrepreneur lies in a ruthless focus on what they can control. And in every business, there is only one variable you have absolute authority over: the quality of the customer experience. Master it. Make it your obsession and the obsession of your entire organization. When you do that, macro factors like the economy or monetary policy become mere ripples in the ocean of success you create for yourself. That is the only path to building a sustainable, money-making machine and achieving true distinction in the market economy. The most shocking truth in this story is not the amount of money they made, but their innate business intelligence. Rose Blumkin, an illiterate woman, was a staggering financial and market strategy genius. First, regarding saving money and capital discipline. Mrs. Blumkin transformed saving money into a long-term investment strategy. Pinching every $50 to finance her family's immigration wasn't stinginess, it was an investment in human capital. She understood that bringing her family and siblings to America was creating an absolutely loyal workforce, people who shared her spirit and gratitude. This was a smarter business decision than any complex financial analysis because it secured a solid foundation of human resources and organizational culture from the very beginning. Second, her market strategy. In economics, Mrs. Blumkin's strategy is known as volume maximization pricing. While traditional business rivals sought to maximize profit per item by selling at high margins, she sold at razor-thin margins. Sell cheap and tell the truth was her philosophy. By doing this, she made it impossible for competitors to make money. She made purchasing from her so compelling that customers in the market couldn't resist. The massive cash flow generated from sales volume allowed her to buy in bulk, negotiate the best prices, and create a self-reinforcing economic loop. This was a brilliant strategy from an entrepreneur with no financial degree. The second woman, the one Buffett couldn't acquire, had a similar business and investment mindset. Starting with $2,500, she wasn't looking for a secret formula, but for a gap in the market related to customer experience. She understood that in the market economy, all money has the same face value, but human treatment does not. Her genius was recognizing that long-term financial success and profit come from outrageously delighting the customer, an investment strategy in trust and word of mouth. Both of these women proved that successful business doesn't require complex monetary theory, but the courage of an entrepreneur and a relentless focus on creating irreplaceable value. Never forget these lessons. The knowledge you have received combined with the iron will of Rose Blumkin and Jack Taylor is your most powerful financial tool. The market economy is a brutal arena, but it always rewards entrepreneurs who focus on creating irreplaceable value. Leverage every resource, every experience, and make delighting the customer your obsession. Go out there not just to do business, but to dominate. Prosperity is not an option. It is the inevitable result of excellence. Now is the time for you to make money and build your own empire.